Hey everyone, welcome to Meeple Bits. Thanks for joining me today. In today's episode of Tabletop Simulator, we're going to go through the game Architects of the West Kingdom. This version titled Architects of the West Kingdom plus Expansions Scripted Setup, authored by Z-Man. This is a community created mod, so it is available in the Steam Workshop. As always, links and available in the description below. In this series, we're not going to go through any of the rules in detail, so please always refer to a how to play video or the rulebook for any specific details about how to play. As always, we're going to go through and understand what's scripted, what's done for the user, and then what you're going to have to manage and maintain on your own. So let's go ahead and dive in. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, welcome to Architects of the West Kingdom on Tabletop Simulator. So I'm joined here by my table mate, and we are going to dive in and show you guys how to use this particular mod available in the Steam Workshop. So we're going to go through very quickly at the different components on the board so that you can have an idea of where the layout is and what is what. So here in the center play area is your main board with some items already set up for you. Now, the middle piece does have set up for 1 through 6 players, depending on what you're going to do. Each side of the board has the different resources available: coins, clay, wood, stone, gold, and marble, and then a discard pile for everything else. All the way up top, there's some note cards that do give a bit of additional explanation of what are the extra buildings, what are the extra characters, and how to stand up and set down the workers. So you have an option once selecting the number of players if you want to use the base game with the extras, the expansion, or the expansion also with extras. So let's see what that looks like. So I'm going to select 2 players. Now it's going to ask you if you want to do base game only, extra expansion only, or extras. For purposes of this demonstration, we're just going to tackle the base game. But rest assured that all of the additional scripting and setup does work flawlessly. So for this one, selecting base game only is now going to reset the table, deal out boards across the board, the table, and then the player would just select which color that you want to sit down at. I and my table mate have already selected red and blue. Now, when the initial deal happens, it does start on the expert side of the board. So unless you want to play on expert, you can leave it as is. Alternately, just press the F key to go ahead and flip your board over for the default setup. Once ready, now you go through the initial stage of setup, and per the rules, that looks like a card draft. You'll notice that both players at the table have each received the 4 starting cards. From here, you're going to want to select 1 card, and then you're going to then pass the other cards to the other players around the table, going from right to left. Since we only have 2 people at the table, I went ahead and passed mine to the side. And then same thing. You're going to take a peek at the cards, figure out which one you want to keep into your hand, select it, and then you would pass the other cards. But for purposes of this demonstration, I'm just going to go ahead and pick 2 cards and then discard the final so that you end up with 3 in your hand. Now keep in mind, this particular action is not scripted for you, so you as the user will have to kind of manage that card drafting or passing of the cards yourself. Or if you're like me and you like to just do sort of a house rule where you pick 3 of the 4 that you're dealt so as not to deal with it, that's okay too. But once you're left with the cards that you're keeping in your hand, you're ready to begin play. You'll notice that everything else is set up. Next, what's also not scripted or done for you, because the game doesn't really know where you're going to be seated beforehand, you're going to want to take your markers and put them on their respective locations on the virtue track and under the cathedral. And then you're going to move those up, in accordance with whatever you select during the game. Now, one really cool thing about it, though, as you noticed here, it does have a really good snap into place. So as you move up and down the track, it does snap right into its location. Additionally, when you go to place a worker into a specific area, so like let's say I went to the forest, here where you can have as many players or workers as you want, there is no snap into place. But in those locations like the black market where there's only one location, it does have a really good snap into place for you. Now, when you need to create something at the guild hall, or if there's cathedral progress, you can use your 1 and 2 keys to stand up 1 or lay down number 2 your worker. And then you can drop it up here and it'll snap it right into place and reposition the worker for you. But that's it. That's really the game. Everything else, though, you'll have to, of course, keep managing and maintaining on your own. So as you see, I've just selected a card here. You're going to want to have to deal out the other cards. Same with your resources. As you go and select resources, you are going to have to keep track and manually grab them on your own, depending on where you've put some of your workers. Well, that's it. That's really the gist of this particular version of Architects of the West Kingdom. For the most part, really well done. And handling that initial setup is a big help. And because keep in mind, guys, as you play the game on your own, well, you're going to have to do a lot of this on your own anyway. So just keep that in mind as you're playing the game and want a whole lot of the things kind of done for you. So when it comes time to reset the black market per the rules, so let's say, I've got a worker here and then my table mate, they've got 2 workers there. You're going to have to manage that also on your own, making sure that you grab them, drop them over into the prison, which again, doesn't have sort of like a auto setup or scripting to organize out the different colors or anything like that. But again, that's okay, guys. Small little things like that. But when it comes time to reset, grab the card, flip it, good to go. So that'll do it for this video, guys. If you have any questions about this particular version of Architects of the West Kingdom, please leave a comment down below. Happy to help out. Until next time, everybody, thanks so much for watching.